AITA for calling my wife a hypocrite? Me,
40M, and my wife,
43F, have 3 kids. 17M, 17F, 12F.
the older two are twins.
My son is gay. My wife doesn't hate him for it.
She hasn't said it's wrong or threatened to kick him out.
Well, at least not for the gay bit.
But she does act like it's an annoyance or inconvenience. Earlier today we,
Whole family,
except 12F, were watching a movie that had both of the twins' favorite actors.
when my daughter's favorite came on screen, she made a comment on how attractive she thought he was. Damn, he looks good in a suit. My wife said nothing.
20 minutes later my son's favorite came on and he made a similar comment. I forgot how good he looks in this movie. However, this time my wife rolled her eyes and made a loud,
over-the-top sigh. If I'm being honest,
I'm sick and tired of how she treats our son and wanted to call her out on her BS.
So I asked her what's wrong. She danced around the topic for a few minutes before blurting out that our son didn't have to be so gay on purpose. I reminded her that our daughter did the same about 20 minutes ago,
and she wasn't being too straight.
I then called my wife a hypocrite and left.
Almost immediately both of the twins also left and went to their rooms. My son flashed me an apologetic smile on the way up. My wife doesn't hate our son.
And I feel really bad for yelling at her and ruining the movie for the kids, and I could have just ignored her eye roll and moved on. But I just can't stand how she treats our son sometimes. AITA. Absolutely NTA.
This was potentially a defining moment that could have made your son feel like he couldn't express himself to people in fear of being judged because kids notice things like this.
That insecurity would have stuck with him.
But now he knows you have his back and won't tolerate judgment from anyone, including your wife, and that you will protect him. You did the right thing by calling it out in an effort to shut it down. You're a good dad.
NTA.
While she may not actively hate your son, it does seem she has a problem with him being gay.
Which is a problem.
If she can't accept all of him, then does she really accept him at all?
One of my children is not straight,
and I can't imagine treating them that way
is any differently than my straight kid.
It just would not occur to me.
NTA. You stood up for your son and showed that you support him. NTA. Homophobia is not to be tolerated. Why has she threatened to kick your son out? NTA. I'm glad you stood up for your son and called out the double standard. NTA.
Your wife is a homophobe.
It's not always shown by huge, grand acts of hate. It's sometimes the small, insidious moments that pick away at someone. You're noticing it, and I guarantee your son is definitely noticing it. He's noticing every sigh,
every roll of her eyes, every comment she's making. She's not a good mother. She's a disgusting bigot who is willing to make her own son miserable. There are too many parents who don't support their kids when they go through something like this.
Please continue to support your son,
because his own mother has shown that she won't.
I know you say it's not hatred, but it is.
NTA. She's a homophobe. Being gay on purpose. Huh.
Being gay isn't a choice, and your son doesn't deserve that terrible treatment from his own mom. At least someone supports him. NTA. Good on you for pointing out a blatant hypocrisy. If you just let it go, she'll only say things like that more and more.
I'm sure your son appreciates you standing up for him.
NTA.
That kind of crap is like a slow drip of acid on the soul. Keep communicating with your wife until she understands this and keep supporting your son. NTA.
I don't think it hurt for your son to see you have his back, but also talk to her privately.
Your son doesn't need the guilt of thinking he has caused problems in your marriage on top of
knowing his mother is disappointed by who he is. Make sure he knows he can talk freely with you. NTA. And thank you for standing up for your son. Many queer people have grown up in unsupportive families. And you are doing the exact right thing. Please check in on your son and how he's feeling about all this. And get your wife some therapy or something. NTA. Your son notices the same behavior, I bet. It's time to have a sit down with your wife about this. She might need to work through some feelings of disappointment of him maybe not getting a wife later on or something like that. But it's unfair to not let him be who he is in his house growing up. And it probably means a lot to him that he knows that he has you in his corner no matter who he's
facing.
Nobody is too gay. He can be frisking around dead winter wearing rainbow sequin short shorts and tank top while screaming how gay he is and how hot his favorite actor is, and he would still not be too gay.
Because too gay shouldn't be a thing.
Not a good idea to do something like that, by the way.
Sequins are nasty little sharp assholes who seem all fun and games until they start scratching your
skin. No. You were awesome to point this out.
Your son is lucky to have you be his advocate. I hope your wife deals with whatever feelings she has, and then decides to follow your lead in supporting your son.
Is this a new revelation? I know parents can sometimes struggle, but it seems like her reaction is way more aggressive disgust than just a parent taking some news
a bit hard. I also think it's awesome that you dealt with it in front of your kids. Your son knows you are his advocate.
And your other kids see a great example to follow.
I don't think you did anything wrong, it was perfect.
NTA x 10 billion. NTA.
And also kudos for letting your son know you're on his side. That kind of support goes a long way.
NTA. Being able to call out another man or woman's beauty isn't inherently gay.
The mom had a reaction during the movie and therefore ruined it for her son. In Proud, the dad said something so the son knows he at least has an ally in his father. If anything, you could have just sided with the son and died down on him looking handsome or chosen which male
character you thought was the best looking in the film. You keep saying I know my wife does hate our son like there's something more or deeper there. Your wife needs to get over herself here. NTA. She needs to see how her behavior is interpreted in the favoritism she shows.
NTA.
It sucks the movie night was ended. I'd say potentially ruining a movie night in exchange for making
it clear to your son that you're gonna be supporting him and not taking his mom's homophobic BS is
a good trade-off.
NTA. It's a good thing that you didn't just ignore it.
Up until this point.
Since you haven't said anything.
You've normalized her microaggressive responses.
Because that's what it is. Microaggression.
There are probably even more instances than you realize because you may not even know to recognize
them.
I'm sure your son is very grateful for the support that you gave him.
If a non-harmful offhand comment by your son is considered being so gay on purpose, how is your wife going to react when he has a boyfriend? Or when he gets married to a man?
Or has a community and friends with other queer people?
Because I feel like if there was a scale of gayness, those things would be considered even more gay.
She can be offended if she likes. But you called out a behavior that honestly wasn't acceptable, and could also be harmful and hurtful to your child. NTA. NTA. It's not right for her to act overly dramatic when he says something as simple as, "He looks good." She's going to have to learn to accept him and who he is and stop expecting him to turn into whatever fantasy idea she thought he'd be. You're a great dad for sticking up for him. It's likely he won't always be treated well for who he is. But the fact that he has a huge support from you at home is going to go a long way in helping him get over the Oz.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.